cold, man. I'm warming up.
Who's taller today?
Like,
what shoes am I wearing? Oh yeah. We gotta figure out New Year's too.
Like, I want to be home at midnight. Welcome to the Tribute Lounge. I'm Mark Fawcett.
And I'm Shane Johnson.
And today, our must-haves for 2024.
Yeah, these were products that we were definitely seeing upstairs in the shop that were selling really well. Some of it was just shockingly great pricing for what you were getting. Sometimes it was a brand new product, like say the Burton StepON split binding over there, that just has a lot of hype. So there's hype picks, really good pricing. We'll tell you why we brought everything down. But no surprise, I mean, this keeps coming up in episodes for really good reason. It's a new product. Some of these other products are also new products. We are going to focus on new things for 24, this being one of them. I mean, Union kind of just came out of the gates crushing with this binding. The new Force, of course.
Yeah, so one of the key features to this is the molecular
the bushing,
yeah,
the molecular bushing
system. So essentially, it just gives you these flex points for the binding to be able to like flex more naturally laterally. So you just have that ability for like the whole system to flex in a little bit more, giving you more tweakability essentially and a more natural feel.
And it dampens, you know, it's going to dampen any chatter underfoot.
100%.
But this, not in the same way like the Ultra that I talk about it a lot. This one's still stiffer. This is going to be a lot more responsive. And higher high backs with the Force too, which gives you a lot more leverage, especially on a heel turn. The Exo straps that the guys at Union, that's one of my favorite things you guys have ever done. Those new straps, I'm really glad we're back to that again. They're so comfortable.
Yeah, we've kind of gone back to having just a little bit of EVA in there, yeah. and then great value on this bike.
Again, so a lot of what we have down here is just amazing value. We're blown away by the pricing. That, where it's priced Canadian and in the US, you're getting so much for your money. So yeah, that's our first pick. Moving on to the next pick is also a crazy value piece in my eyes. The Oakley Mod 1 is now outselling every other brand of helmet we carry drastically.
Wow.
It blows my mind actually upstairs. You get the BOA fit system, you get MIPS with this. It is incredibly lightweight, and in Canadian it's only 155, US it's probably around 115 or something like that. But I'm just blown away at what you get for that price. The helmet looks incredible, fits with every goggle system we've messed with, and they've really figured out a venting system that doesn't affect your goggle. And this I've also tested now, and I really am blown away. It's allowing air movement right above where the goggle foam is. And Fozzie, this is crazy. Like, it's just helping that ventilate perfect.
Yeah.
And I know other brands are doing it, but this one was surprisingly really well done. Zero
Especially
issue.
at the price point that it is.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it's a great
Fits your
helmet.
Oakleys, of course, but I've thrown Anons in it, I've thrown Dragons in it. The Ashbury Blackbird that we have over there fits perfect. So yeah, we had to bring the Mod 1 down. It's just for value for money. Everyone should be wearing a helmet. I'm like 50-50 the time. I got to smarten up more and wear my helmet more often.
Yeah, you
He's
do.
on it. Fozzie's
I'm
on
always
it.
wearing the helmet.
Me,
yeah.
not so much, but yeah. So that was our next one. And then we already kind of touched on it a little bit there. Ashbury, we've carried Ashburys on and off for quite a few years, but this year, magnets.
Yeah, and the big thing with this,
Magnets.
So it's not just that it's magnet tech, and this is essentially their
Blackbird.
best-selling goggle, which is the Blackbird, but with magnet lens tech. But for the price, for $199.99 to have this Canadian, to have this tech is pretty outstanding, and I think about the only company doing it at that price point.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. This is the A12 model, so which is, like Mark said, it is the Blackbird. But that edition, that kind of blew my mind, and this has been if you're looking for a new goggle, that definitely should be in your top 3 to check out.
Especially if
Lens
your wallet,
transition.
but I mean
and-
also just for price point.
Oh,
like
yeah.
if budget's a concern, which tons of us it is, great goggle
Yeah.
for the money.
Yeah, there's things happening in the economy right now that aren't awesome. So things like that are, we're keying into these kind of things.
So like segueing into you're not going to buy a season pass this year.
right?
Go split boarding.
Go split boarding. You
Spend the
don't
money
need
on
a
a split
season
board
pass.
anyway, So the StepON split, I got a bunch of days on this luckily last year when it was still sort of in the prototyping stage. It's super self-explanatory. It's essentially Burton's bottom collab that they've had for years with Spark,
Yep.
mixed with their StepON tech. And it works great. It's just so nice to not have straps flapping all over the place, being able to walk up to your skis, just step in and take off. Really liked it. Felt like a normal set of bindings when I was riding down every time too. So just sleek. It's kind of the direction I think a lot of us wanted to go. I mean, I know some people that they want to buy StepON boots for this.
And now they're using for the resort.
But
as
and
well.
now they're
Yep.
starting to switch back, but
Yep.
this is now what they want StepONs for. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
So-
cool. Not having a strap on your foot and the sensation. I mean, when we're turning, we're stretching that strap. We're pulling it, and there is a delay. This, the fulcrum point being lower, now for riding, it's incredible. We've all loved it. We've talked about it a lot. But for climbing, it's also incredible. You have that lower fulcrum point. So there's less foot fatigue. We're not kidding. We're not kidding.
100% there's less foot fatigue. And then the other thing too is because of the contact points of where it holds you down, you don't have to crank your,
Exactly.
well, when you're split boarding, you got to crank your strap usually or you're all over the place. You can run your boots a little
Pretty
bit
loose.
looser.
Your top boa
you can
can be
run it
loose
loose
and-
and
yep.
you have all the response to pick the skis up. So really cool.
Yeah, for new products for
Really
2024, this is we can't sleep on that one. It's pretty wild.
Yep.
So touring, sometimes you're touring, sometimes you're shredding BaldFace because you want to be in a cat. And at the
Yep.
end of the day, you need a lodge slipper.
You need a lodge slipper.
These have been selling not just to people that are going to the lodge, even though it's called the lodge slipper. I go to get my firewood in the backyard with these. I've walked to the grocery store a couple times in these just because I can. But I mean, Fawcett, they're great.
I mean, they're classic. A really good sole on them. So it's made for winter on the bottom.
Oh yeah,
Nice and
it's the
sticky.
reverse waffle from Vans.
And then they have I don't think it's technically their Super Cush, but it's a really
Cush.
thick. It's Cush in there, really thick, soft foam sole, and then they're insulated. I know JP at BaldFace, he lives in these up at the
they're
lodge. He loves
awesome.
them, and yeah, so
That's
super
just something
cool.
to have for winter. I mean, don't sleep on those either. They're really, I cannot believe how much I use them now.
Yeah.
Just all the time.
Oh yeah. You always have them on. Spilled some coffee on them this morning. Actually.
Perfect. So getting back to touring and why we've brought down the Oakley Clifton as well. I know we have 2 products from Oakley this year, but rightfully so. This more because we're seeing a lot of people just buying it this year. This is a really cool piece. And it has been a lot of our touring homies for good reason. And some of the guys are even riding in it. But when you get into any kind of sunglass that's now going to block any light coming in here, your eyes aren't working as hard to kind of perceive what's happening in front of you. Snow is super bright, so we have a prism here. There's black prism. There's all kinds of lenses in this guy. But for touring up, you want eye protection. You don't want to just be taking that blast of glare. It's been sunny here lately, even though we don't have a ton of snow. That sun, people are getting out there. You want eye protection.
Yeah, and so coming in and shading you laterally, this is the classic glacier. They even
exactly.
describe it that way in the description of the glasses on the Oakley site. Is they're glacier glasses, and having blocking that in. Also, sometimes it's not just that it's coming into your eye.
glare.
You're going to get a glare and a reflection back off of them, and that really eliminates it. And yeah, they look cool.
They really do. You can shred in them too. I mean, we'll sometimes snowboard in sunglasses, even though that may have been a kook thing to do. I
do
rode in my
sometimes.
blades quite a bit in the early 90s, and I'll do it again now,
Yeah.
but I would choose
I
these
still
as
got
well.
I run wind jackets with a helmet often.
Yeah, it's just, you don't always need a big bulky goggle. So The last thing, these come with like a little croquis style, so you can hang them too. I wish croquis would come back.
I know.
Remember
We
croquis?
need those with, yeah.
We're talking old guy stuff again.
Yeah.
If anybody knows croquis, down in the messages
They need to do
there.
like an Oakley,
Yeah. Bring those croquis back.
croquis with Craig's,
With the frog skin or with
no,
the...
no,
Oh, no.
the factory pilots
Oh, yeah.
with the croquis.
The OG
Big-
factory
yeah,
pilots.
Yeah.
Now, we're kind
Back
of
to
sticking
touring.
with touring here. Yeah, of course. Well, we've been doing a lot of touring lately because it's kind of low tide. You've got to explore.
Kinda low
It's kind
tide.
of low tide. You got to
Really low
explore. We
tide.
got to find snow here and there. So the other thing we've been using and seeing, Patagonia brought this out quite recently too, is this new R2 Tech
Tech
Fleece.
Face.
A Tech Face fleece.
Yep.
Whew, that's a mouthful. But this piece is amazing. This is something I'm going to wear on the up. The outer is super durable. It's like you said, your backpack's not going to get all crunched up and pilly and
Yep.
start to break down. This face fabric is really, really good. But we get that R2 grid fleece in the back, and this stuff is wild. You've got all these little squares, and in between them, they're gonna hold heat. And this is really cool. There's not a lot here, but I swear this is easily as warm as, say, my Patagonia down hoodie, which is like a mid-weight down. This thing is damn near there.
Yeah, they're really, it does make a difference. It definitely makes a difference having those grids in there. And this is a great piece to potentially put underneath.
Oh, yeah. So, and of course, you're going to need, so that's a mid-layer. That's your mid-layer warmth, but a lot of us will wear that on the up, kind of like what soft shell used to be a while ago. That's a much more, a little more price point version. The pricing on that's really fair as well for what you're getting. But yeah, like Mark said, you need a shell on top of that. And that's where this year with Jones's offering, the Schraupiness came in at this new stretch and PFC free. You're going to see California, I've heard, is going to ban certain Gore-Texes that have the
Certain
PFCs.
coatings, yep.
Yeah, Europe is going to be the same way. So some brands, Patagonia, Jones, we've seen others, are moving away from that old 3L Gore that we all know and moving into different face fabrics. This one's incredible. This jacket's priced around 600 Canadian and 4-way stretch. Like you can see Fawcett stretching it there. This is so comfortable. So now we're into riding, now we're crouched down, you're in your Kung Fu stance. This isn't stretching on your back so much. It's just, this new fabric, I feel like Jones just killed it. So this is definitely one of my favorite pieces of this season. And you can see, it's a true shell. There's no insulation. Like we brought out the Patagonia for good reason. That's something you're gonna wear under
And
this.
super sheer, taped seams everywhere, nothing to snag. Like being able to shear between your layers is really key. I mean, it's one of the reasons you wear layers versus one big bulky thing. I mean, there's many reasons, but
yeah, this fits in your pack
You
easy,
want
right?
that sheer so that movement isn't restricted, and yeah.
It's super packable, so it's gonna be in your bag on the way up. But just for resort riding too, this thing's fantastic.
Oh, 100%.
But back to the backcountry, if you do get into an issue and you're a little frantic because something's happened, there's been a slide, Jones and crew have added these little avalanche rescue tips. Really, this is a life-saving
On
thing.
almost every product they have.
Yeah,
On
there's
nearly
always
every
somewhere
product.
you can look to be like, oh yeah, just focus in on what I have to do to deal with this
5
situation.
red flags, etc.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we just had to key in on that piece. Like, amazing jacket, and again, Gore-Tex is great. I'm not, I do love Gore-Tex, but there's other options out there. There
And
really
Gore,
is.
you'll see, Gore will.
Gore has a new
they're
product that is
they'll
PFC
change
free.
it, it'll
Yes.
be PFC free. But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Like I'm super into companies like Jones going, we could do it 30K, 30K, 30K.
30K, yeah.
And stretchy, like we can do it on our own.
Absolutely. So we'll stick with the Jones theme for a second here because we have a board that it took us a while. We went through all the boards upstairs and there's a lot of new things this year to talk about. But this one is ideally, Mark, I think you said it best. This was definitely the one we wanted to key in on.
This was a category enlightener, let's say. So free carving in your soft boots and your standard snowboard gear, has been like deeply underground, but a little bit of a scene there, with wider boards, with a lot of effective. You can really tip them over, and you see 1 or 2 people at the resort sort of kind of into it, have some sort of custom board. So Jones was like, let's throw some stuff at the wall and see if it sticks. And I mean, Jeremy has some like serious foundations of his riding in this style. And so they put out an edit. When he was in here, he was saying how he rode this board last year more than any of his other boards by a lot.
The 6,000, Jeremy was really into the 6,000. This comes in a 6 or a 9.
This is the 9.
This
no,
is
I
the
think
9
he's
here.
the 9.
He was the 9?
Yeah. I think he was the 9. And they work well for both. We had a really
I
cool,
like the 9 better myself,
we had a
too.
cool
Longer turning radius.
We had a cool conversation about that because there's certain resorts and certain folks that want to just crank the tightest ones possible, and the 6 would be really good for that. But anyway, the Jones Free Carver comes in a few different lengths. It's really unique and different, but we see a lot of people that they just want to go to the resort and just ride. They don't want to like, they're not spinning all over the place. They're not crushing park laps, which actually you can still ride the park with this. And Jeremy says actually off-piste it rides
This in
quite well.
POW is going to be great.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, we're not going Donic here.
No.
We're not going into that territory of knee drop carving and all that crazy stuff.
But pretty close with this.
Well, we can. That's the thing. We can, but this will also hit the POW where a lot of those Donics are just not going to perform in powder at all. So I had to bring them up because there's a lot of hype around that with the carving world. But if you really know Jones's heritage, it's here.
Yeah, 100%.
It's right here.
Yep.
And this, I think, to me and Mark, this was definitely the coolest board to launch for this season.
Something different, highlighting a new category or one that hasn't seen the limelight, but yet it's really interesting, and now there's a product available, readily available for the public. So this just to give you an idea, this is a 160 with way more effective. It has more effective than any other board in his line, and it's 27.2 at the waist. So pretty wide, but no foot drag.
Oh, you're going to lay down trenches.
Over.
Yep. No booting out here.
Super cool.
No booting out whatsoever. So moving on to boots. Now, Austin gets a pro model boot this year from 32.
Austin Sweeten.
Austin Sweeten. So deserved. Dude is beast mode snowboarder at all times. And this boot, I mean, you can tell. You look at the exoskeleton around here. This boot lends itself to beast mode. That's the best way I can explain that kid's riding.
Totally, yeah. So classically in 32, higher tongues.
Yes.
I mean, and that's pretty universal in the 32 universe, is that the front tongue's pretty high. Double boa, double focus boa with Spectra cord in there, so not the old steel.
No, no more metal lacing with the boas.
Which is nice. I had good luck with steel for a while until they started to fray and stuff.
That was always the issue. And these are H4 boas, so if they ever pop off, they're really easy to fix. I mean, nobody needs to worry about boa anymore like people used to trip out in the shop. We were 50-50 upstairs for a long time. We're probably 60-40 now because we have a lot of confidence in this product. The boa's great. Austin's not going to be choosing to do that unless
it's working really well.
Yeah, exactly.
I like running really tight boots, not necessarily crazy stiff, but tight, and I can't get anything tighter than the boas.
Exactly.
Of course, like a really cool zipped cuff in there.
Powder skirt, right? So if you are touring in this boot, breaking trail.
Michelin rubber sole. So that's to really pit up against Vibram and you can hardly rub your hand.
Crazy grippy.
It.
So apparently it's some of their snow tire compound, their actual snow tire compound is what's being used here. It's really smart. So it also doesn't get hard in the cold. And that's what's so good about that compound.
Stays the same.
This is going to always be grippy. Yeah. So pretty cool.
And then I'd give it like a medium shank on there, maybe even a little stiffer than medium. So for like towing in and stuff, like doing boot packing, like really solid toe on the end of that thing. Beautiful
Intuition
boot.
liner.
Yeah, Intuition Elite liner, actually. So their top end liner and footbed. So this would be one you wouldn't feel you'd really need to make any changes to the liner or footbed. Out of the box.
Out of the box, you're going to heat mold them, get a local shop to do that proper for you. But heat molding those, it kind of sets in like what your break-in would be over 2 days. but it just makes them comfortable right out of the box, so once you get to the hill, you're dialed, right? And that one upstairs, that's been the hype boot of the store this year. Everybody's been wanting this. We kind of sold out pretty quick. We were able to get what we could, but very, very
this
cool.
might be the only one left, actually.
I think it is, yeah.
The whole size run's
If you can
gone.
find one, those are amazing boots. Yeah, and definitely value for the money again. The last thing, the folks down at Drift reached out to us, and we want to have more intel on these, and we will, but like Mark said, it has been a little bit low tide out here. We're not, I was kind of playing it up, but it hasn't been that great. So we just haven't quite got these out yet. But super excited to do so. It'll probably be a POW surfing mission.
For sure.
Because these are, they just weigh nothing. I'm so blown away with this binding system and this platform. It weighs nothing.
And then just like a really simple binding system. And that's, when you're going out for those POW surfing missions or even with your standard snowboard on like an already broken in skin track or not, you don't need a crazy binding system or like what looks to be like a full snowboard binding on there. Especially as well, just from them clanking around, like once you put them on your pack, having high backs and all that sort of stuff are kind of in the way. So this
Two-stage too, which is great. Two-stage for climbing.
For ascenders, there's 2 different stages there. And then what I really like, the whole thing just flattens right down to like basically nothing. You can cinch all these straps down in tight.
Yeah. And that's going to be on the backpack.
They'll just
really
disappear however you wish on your backpack versus, and I mean, I do it with the snowboard bindings on my other approach ski style things.
Yeah, the
It
rovers.
works.
Yeah, totally.
But I really like this sweet little system.
No, I'm looking forward to getting out on these. Just like the rover, it's a fixed skin too. So now you're not getting peanut butter all over your glue and granola and everything else that's in your backpack. You have a fixed skin.
Dog hair.
Dog hair, everything, right? Yeah. Like the glue does, you lose the glue over time with on and off of skin, so on and so forth. So it's just great to have a dedicated tool for those missions. And a lot of it's POW surfing, but sometimes we've got certain team riders that just love their POW board, and it isn't a split. So they're going to be the guys that are looking at this. So
and these are nice. I just leave these in the back of my truck. Yeah, like they're just there all winter.
Yeah,
so
you never know where you're going to need them.
You're like, oh wow, that looks good. Let's go hit it.
Yeah. So this was like a new product we just wanted to bring to attention that we're pretty excited about, and you'll see us out on these pretty quick. Lastly, Sunbum.
Wear it.
Yeah, I mean, we sell Sunbum in a snowboard shop for a damn good reason. It's not just for summer, you guys. This stuff, you don't want to have a crusty face when you're in your 60s, and you want to be This stuff is amazing. Everybody wear it, buy it. It's available everywhere. Like
I will quote OG snowboarder Dave Dowd, who at Mount Hood had said, he's like, yeah, man, like the glare is so strong, I sunburned my brain through my nostrils. So
that's so good.
But honestly though, like I know surfers that they never had trouble with their like skin or their face, and they started snowboarding and instantly, started having like skin issues and such. The snow is super glary, like magnifies. The UVs plus anywhere where you're going of any altitude, even
you're just getting more exposure to a higher radiation the higher up.
Even like at 1,000 meters, you're getting a little bit more.
So it's really, I mean, we really believe in this brand. It's vegan, it's organic. This is the Mineral 50. This is the one I usually wear. This is really, really good stuff, you guys. And just key in on that. Don't be silly. Protect your skin. Just like it's no different than wearing a helmet, honestly. That's no different than wearing a helmet. So that was the last thing we wanted to add, because it's just one of those things that we all kind of forget about. I always have a pocket knife, which is another thing we should talk about maybe, and then we've got our sunscreen. So but that is our top items of 2024 for whatever reason we decided to haul them all down here. But another episode coming down the pipe is going to be a gooder. It's boots. We're going to get deep into boots. Fozzie and I are going to rip apart a ton of boots and show you the different versions. Everyone's been asking for it. Don't worry, guys, we're on it. We have started the Patreon. We're going to figure out the one-on-ones with Fawcett. If you become a member, you're going to have an opportunity to do a one-on-one with Fawcett through Patreon. So once we see that membership hit a point, we're going to start rolling those out for everyone. And yeah, what else do we have to add? We've got more coming down the pipe here. You did a great interview with the folks at K2.
Oh yeah, yeah, super nerd out with a design and constructional engineer, and yeah, that
one's
was
coming down the
so
pipe
fun.
pretty quick
And we
here
could have
too.
gone even deeper. We went pretty deep though. It was great.
And it's almost the new year. So yeah, those episodes are coming soon. Happy 2024. It's coming up quick.
Pray for snow here in North America. Unless you're in
know,
Anchorage, like you got nothing.
It's been a tricky
So-
year, but it's coming, you guys. January 9th, I hear, that's when we're getting the big system in BC.
I'll
so
hold you to it.
fingers
I'll hold you
crossed
to it.
there. Thanks for watching the Tribute Lounge from Shane and Mark. We'll see you guys soon. Go boarding.